I can't hear you.
I just lost you too.
Hello, everyone. We are live. Sherry, maybe go out and then come back in. Sherry, I can't hear you. Mike, just come with me. It's okay. Just close it. Sherry, I can't hear you. You have to enable your microphone. Kick yourself out and then come back in because we heard you before. I'll call Sherry. Okay, guys. Kind of see if I can get Sherry here. I'll call you. Kick yourself out and then come back in because I can't hear you on the video. All right. All right, friends, we're going to try this today. Now, I've done a lot of lives, and Michael's here. Come closer. Say hi to Michael. There you go.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah. So what we're going to do today is that we have 3 topics. One is about the body, physical, weight management, working out, eating. I'll do a bit of a mindset, and Sherry will do psychic coaching. Okay, so if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. Live chat, there you go. All right, so that's enabled. Cool this room. There's Sherry coming in. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, are we okay?
Yeah, we're good. So we're going to start, and I was saying we're going to go like this. I'm going to do the mindset, but Michael's going to talk about bodybuilding, eating, weight loss, and Sherry's going to do some psychic coaching. And what I'll do, because this is our first, I've done this before, but not with you guys, is what I'll do is I'll kind of direct and give everyone questions. If we get anyone on the chat, just type them in, and you can see here, hello, everyone. And wherever you watch, and it doesn't matter if you watch on YouTube or Instagram or wherever, you can just type in the chat. I'll see it here on my screen. All right. The first thing to say is on Sunday, we're having an event right here in this room. Text us or DM us for address. It's going to be real fun. It's kind of a community coming together and all that, and it's free. This Sunday, January 26th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's food, there's drinks, there's some food. Sherry, you're frozen. Sherry froze. Bring Sherry back. Okay, I'll call Sherry. And in the meantime, Michael, I'm going to start with you. And I want you to give a bit of an idea of the scheduled eating. Like I just saw you eating, and I asked you like what exactly you eat and when. Like give me an idea of like just really briefly of each meal you eat. And this will be to maintain the ability of your body to process the food properly.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of different opinions out there. What I feel is good as a jumping off point is having balanced meals, and having balanced meals approximately every 3 hours. And I like my clients and the people I work with to follow what I do, which is like have those balanced meals every 3 hours within a 12-hour window. And for the other 12 hours, you're abstaining from food. So you can call that a sort of like a quasi fasting period, but it's not a true fast because you're only not eating for 12 hours. So I might eat at like 9, 12, 3, 6, and 9 again, and keep it within that 12-hour window. And all my meals, as you know, usually has a form of carbohydrates in it, protein, as well as good fats as well, not saturated fats, just for
Right.
a little bit more slower release in the digestive system.
Did you have any breakfast today?
Yeah, absolutely.
What'd you have?
For my breakfast today, I had oatmeal with some egg whites, and I actually blend them together in Mike Ferrer's magic ratio formula to make protein pancakes. So I throw in 50 grams of blueberries in there with 50 grams of oats and 250 grams of egg whites. And sometimes you can add a little bit of chocolate protein in there too for a little bit of taste, and put it all together. And my syrup is sugar-free, along with, I do a little bit of coconut whipped cream. So it has like very low I think it's like almost zero sugars and very low fats.
All right, let me ask you. Sherri, did you have breakfast today?
Today I did not. I do intermittent fasting usually most days. So I'll eat at like around 11 or 12 in the morning.
Very good. And you guys give me short answers because people want it fast. So keep the answer short. Okay. I did not eat breakfast. I had coffee, and then I did have a bit of food around 2 p.m. and I haven't had any since. So I'll have a bigger dinner.
How many hours do you fast for, Sherri?
Yeah.
I usually stop eating at 7 p.m. and then I'll eat at 11 a.m. And then I'll have maybe like Greek yogurt with some berries and raw honey or something like that.
Do you get hungry?
Not really, actually. No, I don't.
I asked you on the phone, but for the video, do you drink any coffee?
Yeah, I do drink coffee. I don't drink very much though. I usually just drink about 1.5 cups a day. Yeah. And I try to do mushroom coffee if I can.
Right. I do that sometimes.
Yeah. It has less acidity and it doesn't have like the heart pounding. Like it's just more relaxed. I think it's more similar to tea, to be honest, but
right.
I do still have like regular coffee though. So.
Very good. Okay, the next thing, and so I'll talk a bit about mindset, and then Sherri, I'm gonna throw a few questions, and after I speak a bit about mindset, I'm gonna ask you to like tune in. But I'll say a few things before. We are probably in one of the craziest weeks and times of modern history since we started to record history. So we had these crazy elections, and every day there's some big news and all these things. And I want to talk a bit about mindset. So what I've done this week is I deleted all my tweets and all my friends, and we send each other all day and night. We send each other like, did you see that? I said, don't send me anything anymore. I'm done. I am staying neutral. I'm not voting here. I'm not saying that. I just, maybe I'll scan it a bit, but I'm just done. I want to really focus on what I'm doing and stay in a good neutral position so I can really do what I want to do, which is go with the flow and go towards where things need to be. And there's so much talk about so many things. Some is I think there's the issue of justice. There's the issue of equality, but real equality. So we're all the same, which is going to lead us to the issue of oneness and unity. There's an issue of big swath of people moving back and forth, whether it's immigration or migration, whether you do it legally or just knock on the door and say, let me in. So all these are coming to the surface, and we, the way I see it, as a society, are starting to really get the planetary evolution. We're starting to really look at the whole planet as one and say, okay, now it's not going to happen overnight, but we're starting to go into these blocks. So there's the BRICS block and there's the EU block, and I think there will be a Pan American block which starts with US, Canada, Mexico. Now, don't worry about all the bells and whistles you see. I think it's just natural. Canada has the resources, and US has the brain power, and Mexico has labor and beautiful beaches. So it makes sense that the world will go into blocks, and from these blocks, we then going to unite fully as a planet.
Mm-hmm.
That's now. It could take 5 or 10 or 50 or 100 years, but I think that's where we're going. And then we got and it's like we got those mysterious drones and all these revelations one after another. So I think it's really good to keep your heart open, but also your mind very clear, because every day on a global level and local level and personal level, there are always some surprises that we have to be ready for. And the best way to be ready for surprises is to be completely chill.
Yes.
And perhaps to plan a day ahead. Okay, Sherri, so if you tap into the vibe, what do you get? What do you see? What do you hear from people?
From people, well, what I feel like everything you just said, it's like chaotic and it can be really overwhelming for people. So if we're looking at Earth from a whole, like out from space, and you're looking at the Earth and you're looking at the people on the Earth, it's like as within, so without. So the way we think, the way we treat ourselves, like as you guys already know that, but it's like that is literally a mirror of what we see everywhere else. So there's so much hate and self-loathing and the way we think small and fear mindset, and that is what we see everywhere. There's war everywhere, there's bullying everywhere, everyone is just projecting their pain, right? Like outwardly. I'm like, is my connection okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. So that's why we're being called to go within right now and create a better inner world so that we can see a reflection of that in the outer world.
Very good.
Yeah. And of course, there's lots of pieces to that as well. Like, what does going inward mean? And, it does start with self-love. It does start with your mindset. It does start with your body. Like, all those things are linked together. So the more we love ourselves, the more we're going to have more tolerance and acceptance, right? For everyone else. It's literally starts within our own inner world. So we are co-creating this chaotic world. And as the Aussie said, like, it's shifting now. It's shifting. Like all the old systems are being purged up. So it's like you have to go backwards to go forward. So we are going backwards right now and it can look like really messed up, but there's a reason for it. And we're going to spring forward, right? It's like a seed that gets planted in the darkness and the seed's like, oh my God, I'm in blackness, but no, we're blooming out of it. Like that's the sort of like message that I'm getting right now for humanity.
I have a question for you. There's a lot of, I learned this term called identity politics. I'm white, I'm black, I'm green, I'm blue, I'm this, I'm that. My association is this way and my preference is this way. Obviously, it's ego driven.
Mm-hmm.
Same time, we have to drop these identities in order to really be our true selves, which are, spirits in a material world. We're traveling here.
Yeah.
How do we jump from identity of outside, I'm this, I'm that, this is my name, this is my people, this is my skin, this is my preference, these are my pronouns, to I'm just here right now and everyone's here right now and with me?
Yeah, that's such an interesting question because we do look at that right now. It's like, why have we gone this way? Why are there furries? Like, why are high school kids identifying cats and dogs? And yeah, like the trans issue, like we know all of this, right? Like everyone has felt so unseen. This goes to like the nuclear family system. This goes to how we're raised in our families. This goes way back to that. So like no one has felt truly seen and loved and held by their parents. Like we have divorce rates, we have couples that are just arguing and ignoring the kids, and the kids are screaming for attention. So it literally this is going to sound cliche, it all goes back to just like basic principles of like being seen, understood, accepted, and loved. That is the issue. Honestly, it could be that sounds overly simplified, but there's a reason why those kids are doing that. And if you look at their background and how they were raised, that's how loud they feel like they have to be seen, right? They don't even understand themselves. They're just like, oh yeah, I identify as this, but they're just screaming for love and to be loved and to be seen. Right. And doing that allows them to be seen. I don't know if it allows them to be loved, but they feel special because they don't feel special.
Okay, but I'm gonna press a bit more about this because
yeah.
Okay, so Sherri, you're special. You look different, and maybe the government will give you a grant or even like find you a job. But at the end of the day, it does not solve your problem because you still identify not as one in the whole, but completely disassociated from.
Yeah. It doesn't solve. I mean, if you're looking at it in a very like 3D way, like that, like where we're going to try to rationalize or conceptualize something, that always doesn't work. So there's going to be decisions that are made from that. Like, are you trying to get something out of that? I don't know. I think honestly that it just comes down to what that person is missing. Like it's a gaping hole and they're trying to fill it. Like the answer, honestly, is them going inward and them understanding their own pain. So if it was me, I'm like, why do I feel like, but that's not happening. So it's like what you're saying, it's all of the focus is just on like what they can get from it, right? Like it's not about going to the origin source of where that's actually coming from, which is what's actually needed, if that answers your question, right? Like it's such a multi-layered topic.
It is.
Yeah, it really is. Like you could go on for a long time about it, but
maybe I'll ask Michael. Michael coaches and trains mostly dads, fathers, 40 plus.
Yeah.
Also running through this, like where do you see these people, like when is it that they click and like break those barriers and go to the next level? Like, what does it take?
I think Sherri touched on this in one of her previews to our launch party. Is like it really starts with the why. Why are they doing this? Why do they want to work out? Why do they want to change their habits? And that just grounds them a little bit more because it gives them an intrinsic reason as to why they should pursue their endeavors. It's no longer extrinsic. It's not coming from TV or media. It's coming from deep within. You know, I want to be there as a confident role model for my child. And if I'm eating like crap and I look like the same, it's not going to help them. So I think they need that push sometimes. And once they see the reason why they should get in better shape, it's not just for them, but for their family. I think that's a big motivating force.
That's true. What about people that don't have children? I mean, what's their why?
You know, and when I say confident role model for their families, I also include friends in that. Right. So it's not just because they have children or not just because they have a spouse, but they're friends too. Their social circles, their social network. You want to be a confident role model for everyone that's close to you, and not just for yourself. And I think if they can be an exemplar of that, I think that helps propel them to the next level. So, and in Sherri's words too, like to level up and become a better version of themselves.
Yeah. Good. Let's move to the next little, let's say like 3 or 4 months. Sherri, like if you tap in, and I'll tap in after you, 3 to 6 months, like let's say up until July, like summer, like where do you see things going?
I mean, politically, individually,
vibe, just vibe check, not politically. I'll start. I'll give an example. I think 2025, it's a year of 9, right? It's a year of completion, and you can really feel it. A lot of things are ending. A lot of characters we see on the screens, whether they're politicians or Hollywood, all kinds of these, like they're exiting the stage. They're all exiting. And I think nothing happens overnight, especially not in the third dimension. So the way I see it is a lot of stuff is being pushed out. I mean, personally, I'm packing up my place and I'm throwing a lot of stuff that I hang on to a long time. And I schedule the Diabetes Society to come and do a pickup, So I think the next few months are a big months of cleanup. It's really an opportunity to kind of like clean up what you don't need and also get your act together.
Yeah, I think so. I was going to say what came through right away was like the next 6 months. Well, I mean, maybe longer than that, but it's like there's a big giant mirror in front of people, and it's time for people to like look at themselves and purge. This is like a time of purging and cleansing. So it does tie into mindset and body, but it's like we're being asked to get off of autopilot and become more conscious and intentional in our lives, period. And gently calling ourselves out and taking accountability for what we're doing, what we're thinking, how we're acting, how we're treating ourselves, how we're treating other people. Like that's what is the time of now, is like a great purge, because Mother Nature Earth is also purging, like all the old systems, all that stuff is coming up. So again, as above, so below, it's happening to Earth and the humans on the Earth. So it's just like everything is like coming up to go out and to be cleansed, right? Like you said, it's just, that's the time of now. And that's what's coming up.
Yeah. It seemed like so many people I know are on the move, losing job, getting a new job, moving, thinking about so
Mhm.
much change, wrapping up and starting something new.
Right? Or people are like losing friends, or like they're just changing. Like they're going through the most like dark nights of the soul, because that's the purge. It's like all the stuff that's like the pain and the stuff that doesn't serve anymore, and the old belief systems and the trauma that we've been holding on to that's causing us to operate and attract certain things. We don't need that anymore. We can consciously and intentionally create our lives. So it's like get all that stuff up and just get rid of it. It's like a total cleansing. It's like a operating system upgrade, whatever you want to call it. But that is essentially what that is.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just had the conversation, you and me, like last week, because I've always held down my safe job as an educator, and coaching has always been my side hustle, so to speak. But I'm at that point where the ideology of that's transcended down from federal government and into our school boards, it just doesn't resonate with me.
Right.
And so I'm taking the online fitness coaching to the next level. What's the next level? The highest level, which is full time, because that's what I resonate with the most. That's where I can be my authentic self. I can't be my authentic self in an institution where I'm set. I have boundaries that are bestowed upon me that I can't breach, or else I'm
Limits.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's me purging something that no longer resonates with me, because I'm able to see through the smoke and mirrors, like what the agenda is that's being pushed, right? So I'm out. I don't want to have to go into that in any capacity, part time or what have you. That's why we're going, you know, all in,
Full on.
all in with this. We're launching it. That's what Sunday's all about, right? We're just launching this. Hey, everybody, we're going online, and this is it.
Absolutely.
That's an important word for this year too, is authenticity. Because the more you're you, like you're saying, I mean, things are just going to fall away that aren't in alignment with that authenticity of ourselves.
Right.
I'll see if I can share a link. What, Michael, do you see people that come to you for coaching, for physical fitness, also clearing the mind, and really like you help them understand who they are from like a mind, heart perspective, so they can move into the body that they deserve to have?
Yeah, I think that's been perpetual throughout my career. Is like people looking for that change, and for whatever reasons. It could be for health reasons, it could be for aesthetic reasons, but I think in general, people, they don't intentionally want to be the same or go backwards or regress. Their intention is always to be a better version of themselves, and it's just a matter of how important that is for them and how much effort and time they want to spend on that. And that's where I come in and try to help facilitate that, make that journey a little bit easier by providing them with, you know what, everything's done for you. Here's your workout program. Here's what you do for cardio. Here's your diet. Here's your supplements. Just do it. And
Right.
I'm here for accountability, and I'm here to go through it with you if we work one-on-one, like in a gym, in a physical setting.
Right. And the one thing is accountability and community really so connected. Here's the page for our event, which going to lead us to, we're going to have more, we're going to show people more. We're just showing a little bit at a time, of creating a community that really is intending on helping people master the body, the mind, and the heart, their psychic connection. And it takes steps and it takes time. So to bring everyone together is one thing, but also the online is very, very important, because as we become a global planetary society, you can find answers you haven't had with someone across, you wouldn't even know. So the idea of getting coaching, specifically finding that person specifically for what you need, and that could be Michael, and Michael could be coaching someone in another continent. It doesn't matter. Sherri can do a reading. I can help someone. I'm doing real estate in Costa Rica now.
Yeah.
People call me on the phone. I've never met them, and I've listed their property in another country. I just listed another one today, and I think that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Sherri.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what's happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll tap on another thing. As this world evolves, I think it's really important not to give into the fear. I have a friend who I love with all my heart, but he always sends me the worst news.
Yeah, I know.
Rich, don't send me this stuff. Like, I don't go to these websites. I don't care. It doesn't matter because my personal reality, right? My personal reality is one that I create for myself. Now, it could be snowing out, it could be sunny, it could be this, and I used to do it all the time. Oh my God, there's the chemtrails, and here's the thing. It's like, you know what? I don't care. Like, eventually, people will catch up to it, and it'll be
Mm-hmm.
fine. But right now, I'm okay. I'm here on the call, and this call will be viewed. It's all the channels, and it'll be viewed by more people, and it'll help people bring them together. And here we are, the three of us, creating a new community and helping people on all levels, mind, body, soul, to bring each of us and together to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need to get on the love frequency. It's like, it's good to know what's going on in the world, obviously, but it's just listening to like all of the news. It's depressing. It's meant to keep us in the fear frequency and like low vibration, because then you're tired and you're scared and you're worried, and that is not the frequency that is of the new earth, like where we're going, right? Like, we got to stay in the love frequency. Mm-hmm.
Sherri, what would you say, without names or too many details, but what kind of topics do you see people bring up when you do coaching and psychic sessions for people?
I think the main ones are them understanding that they're the ones that are in their own way. Like, there's a few things. They're living in the past, right? And they're literally operating from scenarios that are like 20, 30 years old that have no relevance in modern day, but they're literally leading with that. And they're just recreating those in a different form, like today. And then that's the big one for people where they're like, whoa, that's huge. That they lack power. Like, they don't know how to, they're scared of their own power. Like, because then they have to take responsibility and accountability for their own lives. And then that's scary to them. So they'd rather like blame and, blame everything on everyone else and basically like just keep sabotaging themselves. Do they really believe they deserve better? Like, that's a really big block. Like, fitness, food, like, it's all just like in their subconscious mind. Like, so they're like, oh no, I'm ready. But there's still a block. There's still a big, there's a lot, all these blocks. So those are like some of the themes. Like, self-love is always big. Like, people just don't even know how to do that. They don't know how to love themselves. So you can want to eat better, look better, better sex, better women, better men. But if you have those blocks and those belief systems, you will always sabotage it every single time, because you don't really believe you deserve it. And you don't really love yourself either. If you can't love yourself, you can't love someone else. It's that same cliche saying that's going around, but it's true. It is true.
Michael, how do you see people change once they start working out and eating and getting the coaching and being accountable?
I think they feel empowered. And I think they feel more confident, and it's no longer a surface level confidence. I think Sherri was touching on that topic there when you mentioned that they don't have that confidence in themselves, because it's shallow, it's superficial. They don't realize what they're really capable of. It's a fear of success.
Yeah.
Right. So
yes.
hey, you know what? I'm not going to study for this test because I know on a subconscious level, if I study and I'm going to feel really shitty about myself, right? So I'm not going to study. Oh, and then if I do crappy, then I didn't really study. But I think once I'm able to help empower them, give them the resources they need. In other words, the plans, the program plans, then they see that they're capable of doing this. Then they feel a little bit more self-empowered, like, hey, I can actually do this. Look at me now. I feel confident. I'm walking down the street and I'm the best version of myself that I can show out to the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly it. Like those blocks and that sort of sabotage, or even just like they're comfortable in failure. So they're like, I already know what failure feels like. So I'll fail the test because I know what that feels like. But it's like feeling empowered is so new. It's like, oh my God, like if I can feel like this, like what else can I do? But maybe I won't do good at it. And then they start overthinking and they just, like, so the human mind is so interesting how we do that. Try to keep ourselves small.
Yeah. Sherri, what would you say it takes from your perspective when you coach people and give them psychic sessions to really help them? I mean, we know what happens at the gym and eating and all that and your meals and supplements, but what happens from a psychic and coaching perspective? They click and get to like, I trust myself, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to move, get the job, ask the girl out, whatever it is.
Yeah. There's a few different pieces to it, but it's kind of different with everybody. But what I'm able to do with the psychic part is just immediately laser in on what their wounding is and their very specific narratives are. So it's always very fast. It's faster moving because I just know when I tap into their energy, and then it clicks with them, obviously, because it's just a truth. So we're able to take those. Like if they're ready, then they're like, what? Okay, wow. So then we usually do like a deep meditation activation with them to just really purge it up, and they release it like physically, like somatically, like there's that part of the healing. And then it's like facing themselves in the mirror, like looking, like eye gazing with themselves in the mirror. Like, yeah.
Physically?
Yeah. Like that's the mirror work aspect, which is really
left
powerful.
eye?
Pardon?
Left eye or any?
Just like just full eye gaze with themselves in the mirror for like 60 seconds a day, every single day for like 21 days. Like it's intense, but you can't run from yourself like that. There's big shifts that happen with like that. And then they have to say to themselves certain new rewires, as I call them, like NLP, like new narratives. So we're just like, we have the neural pathways in our brain. So when we think something, a repetitive thought, it actually forms a neural pathway, and it's a hard habit that's created. That's why it's so hard to break it. So these are new ones to specifically replace those. So the old ones, like they turn gray, the neural pathways, and they actually start to shrivel, and then it becomes easier. So that's what that whole process is. So it's like narratives, mirror work, rewires, the shifting belief systems. Like that's like where it starts. That's like the foundation of that work, where you see like the biggest change. Yeah.
I heard a good one, leaving yourself love notes all over your place.
Yeah, I know. That too. Like leave sticky notes, like, yeah, it's weird, but it just
awesome.
It reminds you, little reminders, right? like I am enough. Like that's a really powerful one, because a lot of people don't think they are enough, even like for relationships or whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm enough. It's an important one.
Okay, so the next one I want to go through is we about a month into winter, but we still have we have 8 days to the end of January. Then we have a short February, and then we have a very long March. But March only 20 days, so we really got 7, 28, 35, and 20, so 55 days, give or take, to end winter. And then with spring, there's always rejuvenation and hope and all that. But for the next 55 days, I'm going to ask Michael, I'm going to ask Sherri, what can you do to keep yourself like straight up? It's still dark out. It's still cold. What can you do to like stay on the up and up, not get depressed, and actually make the most of the next 55 days?
Yeah, that's a good one. If you want, I'll start. I think there's no better time than now, especially if you haven't started your New Year's resolutions yet. If you have OCD tendencies like me, February 1st is just around the corner. I believe it's next Saturday.
Yeah.
So just start with a clean slate. Think of January as your ramping up period, and then have your programs, have your nutrition plan all ready, and then boom, Saturday, February 1st, you start everything brand new. Clean slate, tabula rasa. Right. So at that point in time, you want to up level everything. You want to do so physically through your exercise program, as well as your nutrition, and of course you want to work on your psychology, your mindset, right? And that could be through experts like Sherri, or if you have a favorite counselor or a spiritual guide.
Right. And I'm showing the 21-day challenge that Michael and I worked on for almost a year. So February 1st, this is for men. You can join, and it's basically an all-in program with live coaching calls. You get everything you need, and we have lots of videos and live calls and in person. You can join, and you get everything you need. Meal plans. There's an app. There's everything, and that's really good. We'll have one for women too, but right now this is the one. Sample of a call. Here's what the app looks like. You get a daily schedule, meal planner. So that would really help you focus on what you need to do day in, day out, without losing focus, because you only got 55 days and then it's spring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, to branch off that, I mean, it's huge to join a community. I think if we're alone in our homes, like in Canadian winter, it's hard because we're wired for tribes. So if you can find like an online community or community like you guys were starting, it's just you find comfort and inspiration with what other people are going through. So that's huge. I think also in winter we are meant to rest more. So I think it's like slowing down to move forward. So it's like get more sleep, like honor what your body actually needs, and then do everything in like micro movements. So it's like a lot of people get overwhelmed, like, oh, I want to do everything better. Like, where do I start? Like, okay, well, start really freaking small. Like with the habits. I don't know. It works for me. Like when I was actually going through a depression and I knew I had to do stuff, I would just do things very small every day. Like I would literally only do a 10-minute workout. Like I would do just, that's it. Because that's all I could handle at the time. Like it depends on where you are mentally. You can like understand yourself. But I would say to get through it, yeah, join a community. The stuff that Michael mentioned, and then trying to find like things that bring you absolute joy. So it's like, and then putting them in your day, sprinkle them throughout your day. So it's like music, 5 minutes, right? Dance for 5 minutes, do like a 10-minute workout, because you're just starting the habit. So then you can just grow off of that. Like the habit is there, but it takes the pressure off of it being like a full hour of working out or a full hour of writing your book or whatever you're working towards. Like just start to like get the habit in there by it being small and just take away that like pressure. It's got to be like, I'm going to play instead of I'm going to work. Like just sort of the mindset behind it.
Yeah.
Something feels hard, like we tend not to do it. I mean, it depends on where you are with that though, like that resiliency, your mental like state. Yeah, if you're ready to go big, it's like, great, go big. If an hour is better for you, like it's just about knowing yourself, right? But I find like a lot of people that are struggling that I work with, like I just say, do small bits a day. And then, because at least then at the end of the day, you're like, wow, at least I did do something, right? And then you build off of it. I tend to think the habit gets there, and then you can just keep building off of those habits every day and expand them into something more.
Very good. I'll add something. At the beginning and the end of each day, I do a bit of a gratitude practice and also an ask practice. And Sherri, you and I spoke about this before. I just completely calm because I wake up, oh my God, like whatever the dream, a crazy dream or whatever, and I just calm down and kind of just get all the good vibes and just ask for a really good day.
Yes.
During the day, and if I need, I go just rest and like just break off if I feel like too much. And then at the end of the day, before I go to bed, like wind down and get off the news and the apps and do the exact same thing. Just get that breath going and slow down the heart rate and think about all the amazing things that happen. Now, even if today I had some not bad news, but I had some urgencies to deal with, and it's still not resolved. But you know what? I was like, find the positive in it. The positive is that if I do these things, then tomorrow will be better. Like it's actually, you can see every challenge in your life as an opportunity to make your life better and better.
I think so, for sure. That's the big one, is gratitude, right? Like before you're going to bed and you're laying there, like that's what like mastermind people do. Like that's like gratitude right before bed. Like just list off like 5 things you were grateful for. I do that with my son actually. Like we're laying in bed and it's like, what was like something you were grateful for today? Thankful. What actually, we have like a high and low. Like what didn't you like today? Like just going through that, and you get into the habit of doing that, and it actually makes a really big difference. Like to do that, like the gratitude practice right before you go to sleep. Yeah, because you're just setting your you go to bed stressed out, like you don't wake up well, you know, like you said, like clear your mind, go through your gratitude, and then then go to sleep. No devices. No devices. Like the doom scroll, replace it with like a gratitude ritual, and you'll start noticing a difference so quickly.
Another gratitude practice I do is before I eat or drink anything, you can say thank you, you can have gratitude, you can say a little prayer, whatever it is for you. And then don't just get your food aside. Just enjoy it. Sometimes I take a nice picture of it, and that helps. Like I do a nice plating. Sometimes I'll post it, and that really helps to appreciate, because I'll cook my dinner every night. But instead of make nice, just take a minute to appreciate your food. Try not to inhale the whole thing, which I do anyways.
It's big. That's actually something that came through before that I didn't say was we're supposed to slow down. We're just supposed to slow down. Like up leveling, I think people think that mean like hustle culture, but it doesn't mean like overwhelm the shit out of yourself. And that's not what like leveling up even is. It's like you got to slow down and be more intentional with what you're doing and what you want. It's like you said, like people are just rushing through their meal. Like there's no like you're not living in the now. You're just like rushing to the next thing, and you're not appreciating anything. So then nothing's ever enough. It's like this like vicious cycle if you're living that way. Like dating, like movie, eating, like just everything.
Takes
it's
time.
Like rush to get to the next thing. It's just supposed to slow down and be more intentional and have gratitude for things. Yeah.
That's meaningful. I'm going to share our community here. So this is a screen. It'll grow and change, but it's called a healing market. So if you need a community wherever you are in the world, we have courses. Some of them are paid and a lot of them are free. And you can learn a lot about gut health and mindset and all kinds of healing and talking to the ETs, whatever you want. There's a library of stuff here. Here's our event that's coming up. Okay, so it's called the healingmarket.org. You can find it there. And that will grow and grow and grow. And maybe I'll go to the last thing for today. Is maybe each and every one of us, and I'll start with Michael, and then you share in our close. Like a tip before you start this Sunday, 26th, if you're Toronto, join us. We have a little event. It's absolutely free. It's catered. It's early evening, 5 to 8. It'll be here in this beautiful room downtown. If you DM any of us, we'll give you the address. We just don't want to post it online. Michael, maybe like a tip or advice for people who struggle. They go, oh my God, winter is still long. How can I like make the best out of it and come out like just really well?
Yeah, I would say really start with the fundamentals, and we touched on it here. Really get your water intake up 3 to 4 liters a day to start. The sleep is imperative. You know how much sleep you need personally, or is it 6, 7, or 8 hours plus? You need to determine that, and you need to be able to reverse engineer that. So how do I need to get up at 7 a.m.? So what time do I need to be in bed? Lights out in order to achieve that. So reverse engineer that and determine what exactly it'll take for you to wind down your evening so that you're in bed by say 11 p.m. in order to fulfill that promise to yourself. And then finally, get your steps in. Like it was super cool. I like to, after a cheat meal, I like to go for a long walk, but I think it was a Tuesday night. Is when it was just way too cold, even for me. And I like the cold. It was, but I pivoted and went indoors. Fortunately, I have a gym next door, and I did my cardio there. But I was able to come closer, if not meet my step requirements for that day. Right. And 5 to 10,000 is very good for most people.
It doesn't take long,
especially in an urban setting. So before even the coaching starts or your program regimen, get the fundamentals down: your water, your sleep, and your general activity. And in this case, it's the lowest intensity. Just you're just walking, right? Getting steps.
Very good.
Oh, that's so important. That's exactly what it is. I know we said that too, but it's so important to just like dial it back and like just replenish yourself. Like sleep, like Michael's saying, it's huge. Like the people I speak to, that's one of the reasons why they're absolutely not motivated, is because they're so tired. Like you need to honor your body, like, and sleep, water intake, the steps, like keep moving. And then from the mind aspect, it's I would just say like start doing gratitude lists every single day, even if it's just like 5 quick things, like do that. I would say like start doing guided meditations before bed, like go on YouTube and look up like Joe Dispenza even or Marissa Peer, like guided meditations, just to increase your self-love and things like that. And then start telling yourself every day, like, I deserve what I desire. I deserve what I desire. I deserve what I desire. Like start getting that, like, I deserve it, because there's something that happens to you when you start telling yourself you deserve things, because we are going around in life being like, oh, you may not like think you are, but it's like the narrative that's actually playing in your mind is like the deserving piece. So I would say like those 3 things are also huge.
Very good. I do a few things. I got this book. It's hard to see, but I got it a few years ago from consulting.com, but it's kind of a daily planner. It's hard to see, but it says, I'm grateful for today's priorities, schedule, what would make today great, current projects, KPI metrics, end of day review. Now, I don't necessarily do exactly what he says, but I just put my notes in. And I some days I look at him, some days I don't. But I learned it from my father. He makes a list every day at the beginning of the day, and he checks things off the list. And that gives it. It just feels so good to check things off the list. Now, I've learned also from a big city broker that I used to work for that he would always put his KPIs, his metrics so high. I go, Brad, but what? Like, no way you're gonna get it. I said, but you know what? I always get about 75% of it. So the highest I put it, I'll still get more every year. And he says, I'm able, like year after year, to always do more and better because I keep pushing myself. So a combination of these things are like, I deserve it, I'm worth it, I take care of my body, I take care of my mind, I set goals and I get gratitude ticking them off. Like a real change in your life that you really look at and say, winter is amazing. I can rest, I can go inside, I can fix my home, I can do working projects, and in the summer, like go out and have crazy time.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, right? Like stop trying to make winter something it's not. Like appreciate it for what it is. Like this is a time of like replenishment and going inward. Yeah, so that's so true.
Very good. Thank you so much. This was an unbelievable fun, and I think so many useful tips here.
Yes.
So nice. And I think we're onto something here.
Yeah, definitely. Me too.
I think we totally are. If you're watching the rerun, just type your comments. If you're in Toronto, come hang out on. We got a question, Tommy. Thank you. I enjoyed this conversation. Very inspiring and informative. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys Sunday. There's more coming, a lot more. We will drip it out one by one. But for now, thank you very much. Have a great evening. And namaste.
Thank you, guys.